Y'all remember them Cherry 11 Jordans that just dropped this past December? The red and white ones with that icy clear sole on the bottom of it? Well, they ain't about to be clear no more. I'm about to turn this clear sole into a red sole. And before all my Jordan fans get mad at me and be like, oh, he's about to ruin a good pair of Jordans. Relax. At the end of this video, you probably gonna say, Jordan should have made these shoes like this. Alright, so these are the items that I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna break down all these items for y'all just in case one day you wanna try to do this yourself. I'm gonna be using some Angelus Soul Bright, some Angelus Oxblood Leather Dye, acetone, or if you don't have acetone, you can use rubbing alcohol. It's gonna do the same thing. It's an optional thing. Also gonna need some masking tape. I don't use masking tape, but if you wanna be careful, use that. Some latex gloves, paintbrushes so you can apply this stuff onto the shoe. Some cotton balls. If you don't have cotton balls, you can use an old t-shirt. It's gonna do the same thing. All right, so let's get this thing cracking. So we're gonna take a jar of whatever it is you wanna use. I'm gonna take my Soul Bright and the leather dye, and we're gonna make a mixture out of this. Now with this mixture, we're gonna make a 1-to-1 ratio, which means put the same amount of each one in. Now with the dye, make sure you use your gloves because it is dye and it will be permanent if it gets on your clothes or the shoe. And after you're done that, just mix it up. This is a cotton swab I'm using, but if you don't have a cotton swab, just do what I normally do. I just shake it up. All right, so now we have to let this sit anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. After you let it set anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, it should be thicker. It should look like jelly instead of like water now. Now we just apply the dye to the sole. Now this is where your tape comes in at. If this is your first time doing it, you just really want to be very cautious, or if you don't have sturdy hands. If you fit in one of those 3 reasons, use the tape. Because I know some people try to do stuff and their hands get to shaking like the Holy Ghost. Nah, player, just use the tape. But if you feel comfortable enough to not tape areas up that you're scared you'll get the dye on, then you just don't need to use the tape. But anyway, just apply the dye to the entire sole of the shoe. Take your time with this. This isn't a rush. Now, I'm moving fast because I got to sped up, but when you're doing this in real time, just take your time and make sure you cover the entire sole. After the first coat, give it 30 to 45 minutes of dry time. If you have a heat gun, you can use the heat gun to speed up your dry time, but after the time's passed, time to use your acetone or your alcohol and your cotton balls or your old t-shirt. So with our material is what we're gonna do, we're getting the excess dye off the top of the shoe. All the dye doesn't absorb into the shoe on every layer, so you're just getting the excess that's sitting on top that didn't absorb. We're getting that all out. That way we can start fresh on an even surface for our next coat. And that's it. This is basically a rinse and repeat cycle. All you're doing is applying the dye, letting it dry, getting the excess off, and putting another coat of dye on it. You do this as many times until you get the color that you want. Now after your last coat, let your shoes sit for about 48 hours before you come back and check on them. After the 48 hours is up, you use this one more time to remove any extra dye that's left. And this is what we got, player. Hold on, let's do a comparison. So y'all going with sneaker number 1 or sneaker number 2? Me personally, I think the red one looks better. I always wanted to make these reds since the first time I've even seen these shoes. But y'all let me know what y'all think. And once again, this is how you make custom sneakers. You're welcome.